Adventures in Research. Did you ever have one of those unpleasant nightmares in which you dream you're falling through space, hurtling earthward with nothing to stop you, to then wake up with welcome relief? The fear of falling is one of mankind's few really basic phobias. But there was a man who took much of the danger out of falling. His name was André Garnerin, and he fell 8,000 feet through space to prove his idea of a piece of silk.
Have you got a half hour? Tell you something about various kinds of soldiers I've seen in the country of one of your allies recently, England. Made a lot of notes at random, including musical notes.
The Columbia Broadcasting System presents An American in England, the second of a limited series of 4 programs written and directed by Norman Corwin, an extension of the transatlantic series of the same title, recently shortwaved by CBS from London. Tonight, Home is Where You Hang Your Helmet, with Joseph Julian narrator and music by Lynn Murray.
I was watching some range practice one day at an army camp near a famous English town I can't mention. And there was a fighting French soldier aiming at a target. Doing very well, too. The last 2 were bullseyes. And on the chance he had picked up some of our language since Dunkirk, I went over and complimented him on his shooting.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Vin Scully speaking to you from Crosley Field in Cincinnati with Jerry Doggett and Al Helfer on hand as the Brooklyn Dodgers and Cincinnati Redlegs about ready to wrap up their 3-game series this afternoon. Today's game, like all the Dodger games this year, will be brought to you by Lucky Strike, the best tasting cigarette you ever smoked. It's made by the American Tobacco Company, and tobacco is our middle name. And the F&M Schaefer Brewing Company of Brooklyn, brewers of Schaefer Beer, America's oldest lager beer. The Dodgers and Redlegs playing a single game today to wrap up their 3-game series. This will be meeting number 17. They've split it down the middle, each side having won 8 of the preceding 16, and each side having won 4 of 8 played here, and 4 of the 8 played back east, so they're about as even as you can be. In today's ball game, it will be...
The big news here at the ballpark, of course, the game itself, but Whitey Ford. Ford had a little bit of a press conference, so to speak. They finally announced that Whitey Ford has a sore arm. I talked to Dr. Gaynor, who is a team physician for the New York Yankees, and Dr. Gaynor did not seem alarmed. He said it's a condition he's had for 4 or 5 years. It's a circulatory problem, and when the series is all over, we'll sit down, go over it thoroughly, and then make a decision. So it hasn't been a heel, it hasn't been a strawberry, it's been a sore arm that's kept Whitey Ford out of the World Series as regular as we are used to seeing him. Whitey had quite a line in the clubhouse after the game when, of course, the Yankees very happy.
10 p.m. Eastern Wartime. Your dial is set at 660 WEAF, New York.
Rinso, R-I-N-S-O, Soapy Rich Rinso presents Boston Blackie, starring Chester Morris.
Hello?
Is Mr. Manletter there?
Why, no, I'm sorry, he's not. This is his secretary, Miss Rochelle. Can I help you?
Yes, you can deliver a message for me. I've been trying to reach him all day.
Rinso, R-I-N-S-O, Soapy Rich Rinso presents Boston Blackie, starring Chester Morris.
Municipal Tower to Transcontinental Flight 17. Municipal Tower to Transcontinental Flight 17. Over.
That's us, Tom. Check it.
Check. Transcontinental Flight 17 to Municipal Tower. Flight 17 to Municipal Tower. Over.
Police instructions. Check and see if you have male passenger occupying seat 24. Passenger occupying seat 24. Wanted by police. Over.
I'm just checking my list, Joe. Yep, we got a man in 24. I'll tell him. Municipal Tower. We have a man in seat 24. The name he's traveling under is John J. Jones.
John J. Jones. Maybe that's his right name, but the police want him. They know him as Boston Blackie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
NBC brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A ruthless fiend roams the streets of your city masquerading as a police officer. For months, helpless citizens have been robbed, beaten senseless, and kidnapped. The criminal is a twisted genius, vicious, cunning. Your job is to get him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next...
Territory on West. There's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke.
Looks to me like we darn near worked ourselves out of a job.
How do you mean?
Well, that much buffalo meat will keep a track crew going for a week or more. By that time, they'll be laying track to the end of the line at Empire City. But if we were... Hey, wait a minute, Somber. Oh, take a look over yonder. What you make out of that?
Well, I'll be... That's smoke.
Well... Lots of it over by Dutch Hill.
Probably another brush fire. That darn steam engine throws enough sparks to burn up the whole prairie.
That ain't no brush fire, Somber. That's too black. There's too much of it.
Well, what do you make of it, then?
I don't know, but I don't like it. Come on, let's get a look. Well, it was our cross ties burning. A whole mountain of our cross ties that we was going to use to finish the line. 40,000 of them, all stacked up beside the track and burning. Well, we pitched in with some of the logging crew and tried to put it out, but there wasn't much we could do. Then, when it finally had nearly burned itself out, I heard somebody calling my name.
Larrabee, Hawk Larrabee.
Hey, Hawk, somebody's calling you.
Yeah, it's Tom Carter for boss. Come on, Tom.
Come over here, Larrabee. I want to talk to you.
Well, howdy, Mr. Carter.
Good evening. This is Crime Classics. I am Thomas Hyland. Listen. The man in nondescript uniform dropping stones into that well is a mercenary soldier. More recently, a deserter. He's testing the depth of the well, the only way he knows, since a length of rope is not immediately available, and more complicated machines are as yet undiscovered. This is the year 1778, and the deserter is named James Buchanan. Next to him is his friend, another deserter whose name is William Brooks. These men are in the employ of Mrs. Bathsheba Spooner of Brookfield, Massachusetts, whose well it is. Mrs. Spooner will pay these men immediately they deposit the body of her murdered husband. Right down there. And tonight, my report to you on the crime of Bathsheba Spooner, the first woman to be tried for murder in the United States.
Crime Classics, a new series of true crime stories taken from the records and newspapers of every land, from every time. Your host each week, Mr. Thomas Hyland, connoisseur of crime, student of violence, and teller of murders. Now, once again, Thomas Hyland.
Hello. Hello. Oh, there you are. I was afraid for a moment that you had forgotten our appointment. Why, you almost scared me to death. And that won't do after all the pains I've taken to scare you. You remember me, don't you? I'm your host on behalf of the makers of Carter's Pills. And you're to be my guest tonight in the mysterious circle of the inner sanctum. Come in, friends, won't you? Thank you. Take that chair by the fire. Good. And you'll become accustomed to the dim lights in a moment.